Welcome back to Building Character, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Remember to like and subscribe for more sustainable powers next time you play. Maybe. Today we're building All Might, the worst teacher at My Hero Academia. Sorry, but even if he is great at saving the day, that doesn't make him a good educator. Thankfully, I'm guessing your campaign won't have a lot of standardized testing, unless your DM is like, super weird.
Where is he? The guy's already saved 100 people at least, and it hasn't even been 10 minutes. This is crazy. I can't believe it.
It's Brittany, bitch. And I am back.
Let's start off with our goals for this build. First, we need One for All, which is a bunch of different powers, but basically big strength, big quick, and big tough. Next, we'll get some smashes to push our enemies around with giant gusts of wind. Finally, we'll get stamina issues, which is the first time in the channel's history that we've actually had a negative goal. Remember though, playing D&D isn't about playing the best character, it's about playing your character the best you can. For stats, we're using the standard point array from the player's handbook. Roll for stats if you want, but keep your multi-classing minimums in mind. Strength will be number 1. They call you All Might, not all scrawny. Dexterity next, your amazing quirk makes you amazingly quick. Wisdom after that, maintaining One for All requires incredible will, which is what we'll be using for our smashes as well. Follow that up with charisma. You're beloved by the people, the #1 hero in the world, and you fool everyone expecting you to stay that shredded 24/7. Intelligence is a little low. Like I said, you're not the best at teaching outside of motivation, and we'll dump Constitution. You're tough in your All Might form, but you can't hold that forever. For race, I'm saying you're a human with your quirk making you a little bit variant, but if you wanted to go Kalishtar to get the flavor of past generations giving you power, that'd be cool, and would eventually give you resistance to all damage for a limited amount of time. Unfortunately though, telepathy isn't in your power suite, and there hasn't been an episode I've seen where Freddy Krueger can't get into his dreams. So as a human, you get a feat. The Resilient feat gives you proficiency with saving throws of your choice and an extra point into that skill. I'm gonna go for Wisdom here, as Wisdom was used for will saves in previous editions of Dungeons & Dragons, and All Might has will falling out of his butt. Pump your Strength and your Wisdom with your 2 free points. If your DM considers having an alter ego Deception, then grab Deception for your skill choice. If they consider a Performance, then grab Performance. It's really up to you and I guess them. Either way, modify the Folk Hero background to get Persuasion and Animal Handling rather than Survival. I always thought it was kind of weird that Folk Hero seemed specifically focused on a Paul Bunyan type and doesn't get a Charisma skill. The extra ability is literally people like you so much they don't charge you. How does that not give you a Charisma skill? We're going to kick things off as a Monk, which will give us 2 skills from the Monk list. Acrobatics and Athletics should take care of all of your physical skills. The real reason we're starting here is to get the Monk version of Unarmored Defense. No spoilers, but we're dipping into another class with Unarmored Defense later, and if we did that first, we'd be using our Constitution modifier in the AC calculation, which would be real bad because of that whole you have a hole in your stomach thing. Normally, I'd prefer the other version because you can use a shield, but this is fine. It makes your AC 10 plus your Dexterity and your Wisdom modifier when you're not wearing armor. Quick note, if your DM is cool with you picking what kind of unarmored defense you use, start as a Barbarian because your HP is 7 at this point, starting off with a Monk's hit die. That's a yikes. While you're unarmored though, you can also use martial arts, making your unarmed attacks deal 1d4 plus your strength or dexterity modifier. This is going to be a strong, which is my favorite term for a strength-based monk. You can also make another unarmed attack as a bonus action after you attack with an unarmed attack, or a monk weapon as your action. What's a monk weapon? It's something you're not using. I've talked about it in previous videos. Harley Quinn has the most recent version of it. Check that out if you want to know more. Now that we've got your bullet-resistant skin and some punching, it's time to get magical strength-boosting transformation. Barbarians are like Sailor Scouts, but if magical girls turned into hulking monsters that can bend steel with their bare hands. You get unarmored defense, except you don't because we have it from monks, so we're here to talk about rage. Raging lets you resist bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage, deal extra damage with strength-based attacks, and get advantage on strength checks and saves for a minute. You've currently got 2 of these per day, and if 2 minutes doesn't sound like a long time, keep in mind, that is 20 rounds, though it's also worth noting your rage ends early if you don't make an attack or take damage for a round, so make sure you're getting in the fray, with a negative Constitution score. Also, it's kind of wild that Constitution isn't a requirement for a Barbarian, considering it's tied to your unarmored defense and several other abilities depending on your subclass. Not ours though, I checked. Second level barbarians get reckless attacks, letting you make your attacks with advantage as long as you aren't bothered by giving your enemies advantage to hit you next round. All Might can get pretty reckless when he's defending his students, so it's in character. You also get danger sense, giving you advantage on dexterity saves if you can see the source of damage from a spell or a trap. This works really well since we kicked this off as a monk, which means that you have proficiency and advantage on all your dex saves, and will get even better at them later. No spoilers. Third level barbarians can choose a primal path, and the path of the totem warrior lets you get your mama bear on. Bear Barbarians get resistance to everything but psychic damage while raging, which isn't super common at level 4 anyway. Thought about going Berserker because I like the idea of Frenzy giving you exhaustion when you're done raging, but you already have a bonus action attack for martial arts, so there's no benefit to that. I want this build to have highs and lows, but I don't want it to completely stink. Ancestral Guardian was also considered for the same reason as Kalishtar, previous generations coming to your aid, but he doesn't summon a stand unless there's a crossover episode I'm not aware of. So Bear Totem works best. I'll even tweak what I said about his teaching skills. All Might is a bad teacher, but he's an excellent chaperone. 4th level Barbarians get an ability score improvement. Bump your strength up here for bigger hits and potential yeeting things at baddies, or even just yeeting the baddies outright. 5th level Barbarians get an extra attack, letting you make 2 attacks as an action instead of 1 for 3 attacks per round with your martial arts bonus action. Remember, per sage advice with Jeremy Crawford, unarmed attacks are melee weapon attacks in terms of the rage bonus, which is really where this Monk Barbarian multiclass comes together. Sure, your damage die is pretty low, but you have more attacks, letting you add the rage modifier more often. You also get fast movement, increasing your movement speed by 10 feet while you're not wearing heavy armor. At most, you're wearing leather, but I'm going to suggest you stick with unarmored defense, as your uniform isn't what's keeping you safe, it's just really thick skin. Back over to Monk now. 2nd level monks get unarmored movement, making you faster when you're not wearing armor, which again, yeah, don't do that. Get something skin tight and weirdly patriotic. You also get key points you can use to do heroic things. Flurry of Blows lets you make 2 unarmed attacks as a bonus action instead of 1 to really hammer your foes. Step of the Wind lets you dash or disengage as a bonus action and doubles your jump distance. You can't fully fly, but you got mad hops. By the end of the build, you'll have 40-foot jump distance with a horizontal jump and 16 feet vertically. That means you can probably slam dunk on the hoop they put on top of the first hoop. That's fun. Patient Defense lets you dodge as a bonus action, giving your enemies disadvantage on attack rolls against you and giving you advantage on dexterity saves, which you already have. But hey, you could use this to neutralize the reckless attacks if you want. You're not the best at taking damage. 3rd level monks can choose a monastic tradition, and since there isn't anything in Barbarian that lets you clap your hands to create a shockwave or punch the air so hard it destroys people and puts out fires, we'll get that from here. 4 elements monks can choose an elemental discipline. Fist of the Unbroken Air is perfect for a Detroit smash. You spend 2 key points and pick a creature within 30 feet of you to make a strength save of 8 plus your proficiency bonus and wisdom modifier, dealing 3d10 bludgeoning damage if they fail, and an extra d10 of bludgeoning for each key point you spend, pushing them up to 20 feet away or knocking them prone. They take half damage on a success, and you can smash them away or into the ground. You also get Elemental Attunement, which lets you do some harmless elemental stuff, shake the ground a bit, heat or cool beverages, put out candles, that kind of thing. It's not super in character, but hey, if your coffee gets cold, that would be a shame. All 3rd level monks get Deflect Missiles, letting you reduce damage from ranged attacks by 1d10 plus your monk level and dexterity modifier, even bouncing them back as a monk weapon attack if you drop the damage to 0, and don't mind spending a key point. Nobody wrecks the best pecs when you hit them with the flex. I got that right first try. Maybe I didn't, you don't know. 4th level monks get Slow Fall, letting you reduce your falling damage by 5 times your monk level as a reaction, so you can do a big superhero landing without wrecking your knees. You also get an ability score improvement so you can cap your strength off, so All Might can have a totality of power. That name wouldn't be good. I see why they went with All Might. 5th level monks would get an extra attack, but you already have it. Don't be greedy, your power is 1 for all, not all for one. Thankfully, you also get Stunning Strike here, letting you spend a key point to force a constitution save on a creature you hit with a melee attack. Failing that, they're stunned until the end of your next turn, so you'll have advantage on all your punches. And they'll automatically fail a strength save from your Detroit Smash. Your monk die also bumps up to a d6, so you can hit a little bit harder. 6th level monks get Key Empowered Strikes, making your punches magical in terms of overcoming resistances. So no moo will resist your punches no more. You can also pick up another elemental discipline. Fist of the Four Thunders lets you spend 2 key points to cast the Thunderwave spell, forcing a constitution save on creatures in a 15-foot cube, dealing 2d8 thunder damage to those that fail and pushing them back 10 feet, half as much damage on a success, and they're not pushed. Worth noting that casting a spell with your elemental attunement still counts as casting a spell, meaning you can't do it while you're raging. So if you're looking to smash individuals. Group smashing can be unsafe. 7th level monks get Evasion, meaning you take half damage on failed dex saves and no damage on successful ones. You also have advantage on those from Danger Sense and proficiency with them since we kicked this off as a monk. So even if you're a Stronk, you'll be avoiding fireballs like a standard Donk. That's a dex monk, by the way. You also get Stillness of Mind, letting you remove an effect of Charming or Frightening as an action. If the field trip is under attack, you can't hide in the back. Bars. 8th level monks get another ability score improvement, bump your wisdom up for higher smash saves. Back over to barbarian now, 6th level totem barbarians get aspect of the beast. You don't technically have to do the same beast totem, but bear really works for you. It doubles your carrying capacity, which means that you can comfortably now carry 600 pounds, and a full-grown adult tiger weighs 500 pounds. I don't know why I know that, but now if you get into a situation where you need to carry a tiger in your game, you could say, oh, I got that. You also always have advantage on strength checks to push, pull, lift, or break objects, even when you're not raging. With a capped modifier and proficiency with athletics, you'll always be ready to hit the gym, even if that's not really in character. Whoops. 7th level barbarians get feral instinct, giving you advantage on your initiative rolls, and you can act normally in combat even if you're surprised, as long as you go into a rage first. With your measly HP, I'm going to go ahead and give you my professional recommendation to do that anyway. You've got 4 minutes of all my time, and you're going to need all of it. 8th level barbarians get another ability score improvement. More wisdom would be fun for better AC, tougher stunning strikes, and elemental disciplines. Speaking of that, let's get some more. 9th level monks get unarmored movement improvement, which lets you move up walls and over water while you're unarmored, as long as you find somewhere solid to stand on afterwards. All Might can't exactly fly, but his mobility is solid, and hey, so is yours. Nice. 10th level monks get purity of body, making you immune to poison and disease, which is actually awesome considering we dumped constitution, as those would generally be constitution saves that you just get to say no to. 11th level monks get another elemental discipline. Gong of the Summit lets you spend 3 key points to cast Shatter and blow up a 10-foot radius sphere, dealing 3d8 thunder damage to those that fail a constitution saving throw in that area, half as much to those that succeed. But non-magical items also take the damage and automatically fail the save, so you can use this to literally smash things rather than the metaphorical smashing that's more like pushing. Even better though, your monk die also bumps up to a d8 for some really hefty punches. Our capstone is the 12th level of monk for an ability score improvement. Cap your wisdom and round up anything odd. If you don't have anything odd, which you shouldn't if you use the book scores, just put it wherever you want. It really won't make a difference. Now that we've hit level 20, let's figure out how viable this build is. First, you are mobile with 60 feet of flat movement and the option to double dash for 180 that can go up walls and jump over big gaps. You're also great at controlling enemy positions with your smashes and one of the highest possible shove checks you can get in the game with advantage in case a villain gets too close to one of your students. Finally, you're great at reducing incoming damage with rage to flex off all but psychic damage, superpowered dex saves, 3 saving throw proficiencies, and deflect missiles, all coming together to make sure you've got thick skin. But that's also your big weakness. Underneath that bulky facade hides a very squishy fighter. Less than 100 HP on a build with a bunch of barbarian levels seems almost impossible, but it's pretty likely depending on how those hit die get rolled. Not only does that leave you open to power word kill, but anyone with a little psychic damage could ruin your day pretty quickly. You've also got 17 AC, which is actually pretty easy for late game enemies to hit. As fun as the Stronk is, there's a reason most monks are donks. It's to get that bulletproof monk thing going. Finally, only one of your elemental disciplines works while you're raging, and one of them is just slightly worse prestidigitation. Prestidigitation is for wizards though, and you're a big, buff, burly badass. Dive into the fight, keep the enemies off the other heroes, and flex your way to victory. Just remember, you might not have the stomach to keep this up much longer. Start rolling up a replacement character as soon as possible. Thanks for watching. If you like the video, subscribe for more. We make 2 videos every week. Check out our sister channel, Tulog and Mango, where I play games and occasionally talk about anime with my buddy Mango.